Hi there, my name's David and welcome back to the Restyle File, where we talk all things reselling. In today's video, I have a haul here of 15 items that I will be reselling on various platforms like Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, and eBay. And I'll be letting you guys know around what price I paid for the item, where I picked it up, what I may be pricing it for, or what I expect it may sell for, along with any other details that I think might be important for you to know when you're sourcing at a thrift store, flea market, what have you. Before we get into it, if you haven't done so already, please make sure to subscribe to this channel. I try to upload content every week, whether it be hauls or what's sold videos, to try to provide you with information about what's currently selling and what's fueling my part-time reselling business. I would also really appreciate it if you would like this video, comment down below, and also share it with anyone that you think may be interested in reselling content. It's a really great way to make some extra money, and it actually has a very low cost of entry just because you can start by just selling things you already have in your home. Let's go ahead and get started with my first item here. It is a long sleeve t-shirt, and you can't really tell what brand it is just from the label right here. It just says made in USA, and it's a size 3, which is, I suppose, European sizing or possibly Asian sizing. But when you look at the hang tag on the interior, or the material tag, you'll see that it says Alp and Rock. And it's just a sort of graphic, embroidered. You can see it has patches here on the sleeve, and on the back it just says Ski USA. I've never had this label before, but I thought it looked interesting, and when I looked it up, it does have a very high sell-through rate on eBay, over 100%, and these can sell anywhere from $30 on the low end to, I saw some for $130 for t-shirts. So definitely one that you want to watch out for in the thrift store. You see here that it has a tag for $8.99. I actually bought this on Wednesday at a Salvation Army thrift store when they have all clothing half off. So I paid roughly $4.50 for this item. I'm not too sure yet what I'll list it for, just because I want to see if maybe it's a particular style that might be very popular. Perhaps about $80. We'll see. The next item I have here is a sort of decorative men's button-down shirt with a lot of unique sort of embroidery details, some rough edges here, some traces of velvet, and the label is the purple label by Rock and Roll Religion, the Jimi Hendrix Experience and Clothing Collection. It's a size large, it's 100% cotton, that is what the back looks like, and this particular label also appears to have a very high sell-through rate, over 100%. And this one was also similarly about $29 on the low end to about $80 on the higher end. I saw very few that were over that amount. I actually picked it up for $1 down in a flea market in Alamo, Texas. I still need to do a bit more research to see if this particular style is worth anything special. Otherwise, I'll probably list it anywhere from $40 to $50. We are in mid-January right now, and we actually just had a Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I actually fortunately had the day off from work, so I took full advantage that we have a thrift store here in Texas called Texas Thrift Store. And they have everything half off on some major holidays, or like the first Monday after a major holiday. And I took full advantage. Usually it's a little bit more expensive there, but it's definitely worth it on the half off days. So I picked up quite a few things from there. Not just there, but let me go through a couple of them. So this is sort of just like a vintage dress, and I'm not sure what you would really call it. I described it as sort of fit and flare just because it's fitted here at the waist, and it doesn't have a label or an interior material label. This feels like an acrylic, cotton, polyester type blend the material that was like rampant during the 70s. So I'm fairly confident that this is a true vintage dress. And I just thought it was really beautiful. It has this floral motif, a bunch of roses, and also some sort of gold florals on the back as well. And it has this really adorable little belt buckle, plastic. The buttons are plastic as well with little hearts. I've had some success with vintage dresses on Depop and Poshmark. I've even sold one or two of them for about $50, so I figured that this one stood out enough that I'd be willing to take a chance on it. It has functional pockets. I'd probably wager it's about a size small, or maybe a smallish medium. And this dress was from the Texas thrift store sale. It was half off of $5.98, so it was roughly $3. As long as the price is low, I can be much more adventurous and take a gamble on items like this. I will probably list it for about $50. Sort of continuing the trend of adorable dresses, I just thought that this looked like what like a modern Disney princess would wear. And it gave me sort of vibes from Japan, Harajuku, a little bit of Lolita in there with this. I'm not sure if you would necessarily call this a Peter Pan collar, but I think that's probably the word that would generate the most attention to it. And it has this beautiful sort of floral embroidery on this exterior collar, sort of doily-ish collar beneath that, and just a floral print throughout. A drawstring here at the waist, a button up, and it's definitely a longer dress. It's a midi dress, past the knees. And there is no material tag, but I'd say it feels like a cotton linen blend. So it feels pretty well made. The brand says He Moo, and it does say it's a size large. With this dress and the other dress, I am posting measurements in the listing just because I doubt anyone knows these labels, or including that one that doesn't even have one. But this one I will probably also price similarly at about $50. And this was definitely a style pickup. It was half off of $7.98, so I paid roughly $4 for this one. Also picked it up at the Texas thrift store sale. This next dress is from the Salvation Army thrift store. I bought it on the half off day. It was $13.99, so I paid probably about $7. It's a brand you all know. Polo Ralph Lauren. It's a size large, and it is a very long dress. Just like a long sleeved blue thermal / waffle knit. I will also include in the listing material dress, maxi dress. And I figured that this is just a great sort of staple piece. You could wear it with a belt, you could dress it up, you could dress it down, and it's in a great size. I would probably list this at about $60 to $75. It probably cost $175 new. I've been taking more risks with Polo Ralph Lauren just because it's been working in my favor lately. So we'll see how this one does. Alright, designer alert. And this one's an interesting one. It is a black lace knee-length dress, and initially you might not think anything of it. If you look at the label, you'll see that it's actually been cut. It just has a little black label there that says dress. Not sure why they would cut that. And of course, what do you do when the tag here is cut? Look for the material tag. I was at the thrift store. I was sort of feeling a little lazy, didn't want to go through each individual dress. Sometimes I'm up to it, sometimes I'm not. So sometimes I'll just go to a section and just look at the individual color and just sort of grab materials that I think look nice or look like they might be expensive. And lo and behold, this one is definitely a costly brand. Let me show it right here. It is Balenciaga. It's a size 38. It's from 2009. During that time, I believe it was Nicolas Ghesquière who was the creative director of Balenciaga. So, not necessarily a highly coveted era, and a knee-length dress, probably nothing special either. It's not something that's going to command a bunch of money. I think even on the real, first of all, I'm not sure they would even accept it with this label cut. I will go ahead and list this in my store for a bit, and if it doesn't move after a couple of months, then I might send it into the real and see if they'll accept it. But from what I saw for similar ones, they weren't selling them for that much, probably about $150 or so dollars. So we'll see how this one does. It's in excellent condition. By the way, the older label for Balenciaga for this particular piece would say Balenciaga black dress. So that's why it says dress here. I did find this exact same dress on a couple of other listings and was able to see the full label. So I was able to confirm that. I picked this up at the Salvation Army thrift store. It was $11.99, so on half off day it was about $6. And I will probably list it at about $150 to $200 in my store. And we'll see what happens. But an exciting find. Here we have another designer brand. I would not necessarily say it's a highly coveted brand these days. It's kind of an old money brand, but it is Escada. And it is a size 42. It is just this purple velvet blazer. A couple of months ago, I sold a green Zara blazer that was also velvet. So velvet, I feel, does better in the winter months. I might be too late for this one, but I figured it was still worth a shot. When picking up Escada, I am always very conscious of it being very style dependent. And I also am very conscious about what I send into the real. They'll accept it, but they won't price it very high. They'd probably price this at about $80. So I would get probably 20% of whatever that is. Not worth it. So I will try listing this myself. It's a very nice deep purple. I paid $5 for it at the Alamo Flea Market in Alamo, Texas. Here I have my Y2K entry, and I did talk about this label recently in one of my other What Sold videos about, I'm not entirely sure if I would call it a bolo, but definitely certain pieces can do very well. It's cachet, and it is size 8, and it's a black sort of evening jacket or blazer. And the reason I picked it up is it has this very unique sort of material. It's kind of like neoprene. It reminds me a lot of Prada materials. And it has this keyhole / cutout detail with a sort of snap buttons right there. And the bottom buttons are also snaps. But it's in excellent condition. And I actually saw that there was another one sold on Poshmark of the exact same one for over $100. I think it was about $120 or $112. I don't believe I'll price mine that high, but I will probably list it at about $80. I picked this up at Goodwill. It was regular price, so I paid about $9.99. But very Y2K. I'm also putting Bratz, like the Bratz dolls, in my Depop listing as a hashtag. We'll see how it does. I think cutout is still relevant. Something that was fun to pick up at the Texas thrift store sale was leather jackets. I actually have 3 right here. So this first one is by a label I typically don't pay any attention to. Let me know if you think this is a label worth picking up, but it's BCBG Max Azria. I don't know. Maybe that's a reason I don't pick it up. But it's a size medium. You can see that the tag says $9.98, so I paid 50% off of that. I paid about $5. Not sure why they priced it at that when this is genuine leather, but it is just a sort of like cropped high-low moto style jacket. It's meant to be worn folded over a bit like that, and it's pretty cool. I think it's nice. That's why I was willing to pick it up, and because I will obviously make more than $5 on this. The comps were anywhere from $45 to about $100. I need to get this listed ASAP. But I picked it up since it was genuine leather and it's a sort of current style. Here I have another leather jacket that I picked up there. This one they definitely priced a little more like they regularly price leather at $24.92. $24.92. What an odd price. And I guess now I can rip off this label. I try to make sure to cut labels now because I've had some bad stories of me trying to rip one and accidentally ripping an item. But you can see the label there is McGinn. That's MCGINN. It's a size small, and it's just another sort of fold-over leather jacket. But I figured that these are sort of staples. Moto is having a big comeback in the winter season, so it was definitely worth picking up, especially because I paid roughly $12 for it. I didn't really see a huge presence for this label online, so I will probably list it at about $80, maybe $100 or so, and I imagine I might sit on it for a bit. But it was a relevant enough style that I thought it was worth picking up. And the last leather jacket that I picked up is this cool black one. It is by a brand, I've never heard of this brand. Yaya? Lord, yeah. I'm Lord, yeah. You can see I paid $19.91 for it. Another weird price. I paid half off of that, so I paid roughly $10. It's a size small, and it's genuine leather, and it has this really cool removable inner layer that's just lace. And it goes all the way into the sleeves as well. You can't say it well on that one, but you can see there that there's lace. I thought it was really cool. I'll probably list this one at about $100. I was hoping that Yaya was some sort of subsidiary brand under Yohji Yamamoto, but it isn't. But the comps seem okay. The next item I have here is a trench coat. And it's sort of super 80s. It's floral. And it's by a brand everyone knows, London Fog. And I paid $8.99, so half off of that was about $4.50. And I kind of bought it as an experiment. I'm going to send it into the RealReal. The RealReal does accept London Fog. And I sent them a regular trench coat a while back for London Fog, thinking that they were probably going to price it at $40 or something. But they actually priced it at like $150. And I had picked that thing up for like $2 because these things, you can find them pretty much anywhere. But I'm wondering if maybe it might increase the value just because it's a sort of floral printed jacket versus just a regular one. And thankfully there's no belt loops, so it does not matter that there is not a belt. But it's in perfect condition. And I am always tempted to pick these up just because they do accept them. But of course I only pick them up when it's cost effective. I don't pay anything more than $5 to $10 for a London Fog piece. And it has to be in great condition. Sometimes the vintage pieces definitely have signs of wear. If for whatever reason they don't accept it, of course I'll list it, probably price it at about $40 or so. And the last clothing item I have here is this beautiful long sort of top coat or overcoat. And it's by Boden. And it's in impeccable condition. It doesn't appear that it was ever worn. It was very recently on their retail site selling for $248. I did see that there were some comps that sold for about $200 to full price. And it's a size 16/18, so a fantastic size. I actually did pay up for this item. You can see here that the tag says $75. I picked this up at a store called Valley Thrift and More in Brownsville, Texas. But I didn't pay that. I saw that they had a senior discount on Tuesdays, so I took my favorite senior citizens, my parents, to help me purchase this item at a reduced cost. I think it was about 30%, which is semi-legit. So I paid probably about 50-ish, 55. Don't ask me to do math. I think you'll do well. I've had okay luck with Bowden pieces. They're usually more known for like their brightly printed items, but I thought that this was very classic. It's a wool jacket, it's in great shape, and it was just recently on their site, so I'll be able to use their model photos for the listings. So I think I could probably even list this at about $200. We'll see what happens with that one. Might also sit on it until next winter. Another store I went to when I was up here in the Houston area was a family thrift center, a regular one, not the outlet, and I found something I love finding, Rothy's. You can see the label in there, Rothy's. You could also see it on the bottom, Rothy's. And these are probably in the best condition of any I've ever purchased. They cost $12.51. What's with these prices? And these are actually from a different style that they made where it's partially merino wool, and they're meant to be flats that look stylish in the winter but also keep your feet warm. So they have a unique sort of sole as well. I'm very pleased that they also have the cover up on the bottom. It's just like a sort of film thing, so I could probably very easily say that these are brand new in my listing. Rothy's, for me, I've only found them a handful of times, but they always sell light and fast, and usually anywhere upwards of $80, even for used ones. And the merino ones are actually more expensive retail. They cost about $175 retail. So I would probably list these at about $125. They're a size 11, a larger size, but I don't think that that will detract from it. Something I always check with Rothy's is, of course, just the sort of quality of it. Make sure that all the stitching looks good. On the interior insole, I make sure that the little sort of leaflet thing that they have is not touching the outer circle. I've heard that that's something. Although that being said, also keep in mind that these are removable and that maybe someone might have bought fake ones to put in a pair of shoes. But you definitely want to take a look at the interior. They should say made in China. If they say made in USA, they are fake. And additionally, you also want to look for drain holes. So you could see that there's a hole right here. There's also one under this label that you can't see very well, and another one further down in there. But also just take a look at the stitching, make sure that it looks even, just because fake Rothy's are a thing. Even if you go into a store and you just find Rothy's without the insoles, I would still be very tempted to pick them up, just because you can buy the insoles. And you don't have to buy them on the Rothy website. You can buy them secondhand. There's even a market for these. So some styles can be very, very, very expensive. You can command a lot of money for them. So definitely do your research, but almost always one that I pick up. I'll even pay up for it. I think the most I've paid up for Rothy's is about $30. The last thing I have is sort of a unique thing. I've never sold books on Poshmark or any of my applications, but I picked this one up just because it's a planner. It's a quarterly planner. And you can see that it has some cheesy quote there, and it says Megan Hyatt Miller. And these are called the Full Focus Planner. And apparently these are meant to be quarterly. You put the quarter in the year there. And I also saw that it says $50 on the back of it. and it's a leather material, and these actually have a super high sell-through rate on eBay. I think I saw that there was like 20 or so of them currently active, and 75 have sold in the last 90 days. So that means it's basically a sure seller. And the price ranges anywhere from $20 to $35. I'm probably going to list this at about $30 and just see what happens. I paid $2 for it at Goodwill. I wish I was the kind of person who could use these, but I'm just not. That wraps up my haul for today. If there were any items that you thought were particularly cool or that you have had experience with in the past that you can give advice on, I'd love to hear about it in the comments down below. Additionally, please make sure to like this video and share it with anyone else that you think might be interested in reselling content. And, of course, make sure that you're subscribed to this channel so that you don't miss out on any What's Sold videos, any future hauls, or any other reselling content that I'm making. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I hope you have an incredible sales week. I'll see you in the next one. So some things that I actually also got. It's actually a Barbie mannequin. It's by Mattel. It's not worth anything, even though it's from 2004, but it's cool. I like it. I'm thinking if I ever have like a legit setup, maybe I could have this like in the backdrop along with other things. Maybe if I want to like sell Poshmark clothing for mice? For Barbies? I don't know. I like it. Also, this thing. Super cool. For shoes. Now, is it a little strange to appreciate gifts like this? Maybe. But is it not also strange to appreciate videos of a guy appreciating these things? I got you there. See you in the next one. Bye!